Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a great day today and I hope you're ready for this. It is gonna be an adventure of an episode and I'm so excited. Once again, it's me Nez narrating the episode. Okay, let's get into it. Enjoy the episode everybody. Post number 1. Am I the a-hole for not giving my business class seat to my wife on our international flight? My wife 32 female and I 34 male recently took an international trip to visit her family. We travel a lot for work and we've built up a lot of frequent flyer miles and airline status. When we booked the tickets, we both got economy seats since that's what fits our budget. 2 weeks before the flight, my wife and I were sent an email from the airline telling us that we were eligible for an upgrade using our miles. I informed my wife about this and I asked her if it was okay to upgrade our tickets. She said that was fine and to go ahead and to upgrade my ticket. Because we have separate accounts with the airline, she would have to upgrade her own ticket and I'd have to upgrade mine separately. I offered to log into her account and upgrade her ticket when I upgraded mine, but she said that she'd do it on her own. The week leading up to the flight, I'd been reminding her to upgrade her ticket, but when the time came to go to the airport, she had not upgraded her ticket. When we got to the airport, I offered to switch tickets with her, but she declined. I went to the business class check-in while she went to the economy. She seemed too distracted with checking in to be bothered with the ticket situation, but when we boarded the plane and I was heading towards business class, she was confused, and she asked me why I'd not downgraded my ticket in order to sit with her. I explained to her that I was not aware that she wanted me to sit with her, and she turned away and stormed off to her seat. When we landed, she was snippy with me and made an effort not to talk to me. The whole trip, she made little comments about my ticket and refused to talk about it when I asked to. I sat next to her on the flight back, and she didn't say anything about it, and seemed to be less aggravated. But now that we're back, she keeps on bringing it up in passive-aggressive ways, saying stuff like it must have been nice to have all that extra room while your wife was cramped in the back. I brought this up with some of my friends. Some think that I was in the right, but others say that I should have given up my ticket. Am I the a-hole for not giving up my seat? Edit, there was no way that I could have upgraded her ticket for her. I don't know her login information and she kept on brushing me off. We've only been married for a year. Wow, okay, yeah, multiple different times you asked about upgrading her tickets. It said there, I asked her if it was okay to upgrade her tickets, and she said it was fine and to go ahead and upgrade my ticket. And then once again it said I offered to log into her account and upgrade her ticket, but she said that she'd do it on her own. And then OP kept on reminding her about it, but she never did it. But now is annoyed at OP. All the comments are not the a-hole. The top comment says not the a-hole. You offered to upgrade it for her. She declined. You reminded her to upgrade before the trip and she declined. You offered to switch tickets with her and she declined. Do you see the pattern here? Also, did she ever mention the idea of downgrading your ticket, if that's even possible? And even if you had, there would have been no guarantee that you'd sit together since you checked in at different counters with different attendants. Your wife is being 100% unreasonable and she brought this upon herself and she has nobody else to blame but herself. Comment below that says obviously not the a-hole. The comment below that says not the a-hole. Are snippy remarks and silent treatment typical of her behaviour or are they out of character? Could there be another issue? Have you spoken with the Sins about her behaviour? The one below that says not the a-hole. It almost seems like she was looking for a fight or a reason to be upset. Yeah, pretty much all the comments are not the a-hole and OP was communicating the whole time, like where they offered to log into their account and upgrade her ticket, but she said that she'd do it on her own. Like that happened over and over again, but also at the very beginning of the post it said, we travel a lot for work and we've built up a lot of frequent flyer miles and airline status. So if both of you fly a lot for work, why is this even happening? Like by the sounds of it, they've both done it heaps of different times. So why all of a sudden is this happening? And then to be all passive aggressive and give OP the silent treatment when OP reminded them about it so many different times. Yeah, that's not good. Like where it said, must have been nice to have all that extra room while your wife was cramped in the back. Like, hey, OP offered to upgrade your ticket like 4 or 5 different times. The next one. Am I the a-hole for not adding my longtime girlfriend to the deed of the house that I bought? I'm so conflicted on this. I'm 32 and I saved up my entire life to purchase a house for my longtime girlfriend and I, who've been together for the past 3 years. I've recently purchased $1 million home that she did not want to put a down payment together on, so I put down the down payment by myself and I took out a mortgage. The house is under my name because I felt that since we weren't married yet, it was natural that I keep it under my name for now, but I have no problem adding her when we get married. Her sister and mum said that if I don't add her on the deed, then I don't trust her, and we can't continue our relationship without trust. I'm torn because I do trust her. Our relationship has been rocky lately because I feel that her family and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and it's causing a lot of tension. Should I just add her on the deed to satisfy her family's demands? It's starting to to impact how she thinks as well, because when we bought the house, she never even mentioned anything about the deed. The top comment, under no circumstances let your girlfriend's mother and sister convince you to give her rights to your $1 million asset. Are you crazy? She made her choice. She didn't want to put money down on it. What more is there to discuss? Trust has absolutely nothing to do with this. It's $1 million asset. $1 million. It's not a phone passcode. And OP said, I feel like I'm taking a huge financial risk for us. Meanwhile, she's not really offered to contribute in any way. I don't mind because I can work hard and manage it, but at some point it does feel like I'm taking all the risk here. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. Dear Lord, why is this even worth considering? If they're so insistent on it, then they did you a huge favor in showing their true colors before it's too late. And OP said, I was considering it because I really want our relationship. It just feels a bit unfair for them to ask this when I've shown that I've put everything on the line for her. It's one thing if her family has this opinion, but even she thinks the same now. And the response says, if anything, this is poison for your relationship if you give in. Feeding entitlement will only lead to more entitlement down the line. Yeah, I'm not liking this at all. Like the fact that they're so worried about it too. Like, why are they so focused on that? That's not a good sign. This comment says, pressing to be on the deed but not the mortgage. Very telling. Yeah, and for them to be like, if OP doesn't put her on the deed, then OP doesn't trust her, and we can't continue our relationship without any trust? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, icky situation. This comment says, wow, her mum and sister should mind their own damn business. Don't add her to anything even if you do get married. Why should she be entitled to that? Not the a-hole. The comment below that says, they're trying to take advantage of you. Even if your girlfriend's lovely, her family is toxic, and they're influencing her in a negative way. Look up enmeshment, not the a-hole. And the one below that says, not the a-hole, she didn't financially participate at all in the purchase of the house, so she doesn't get to participate in its ownership. Them's the rules. Her sister and mum are both wrong. Do not put her on the deed. This really does sound like a money grab on their part. Yeah, and the fact that they're trying to guilt trip OP into doing it too. Like, oh, if you don't do it, then that means you don't trust her. And then you can't continue your relationship without any trust. And also the fact that they're getting involved in this too. Like, stay out of it. Yeah, pretty much all the comments are not the a-hole. The next one. Am I the a-hole for losing weight for my friend's wedding? Although I'm already the skinny friend. I, female 28, recently lost a fair bit of weight, and now my friend, female 30, is saying that I'm trying to upstage her at her wedding. My best friend, Emily, got engaged at the end of last year and asked me to be a bridesmaid. I was super happy and of course said yes. In the past 3 years, I've put on some weight, about 2 dress sizes. It didn't really bother me until recently, so I decided to use the wedding as an excuse to lose some weight. I find it easier to do if I have a goal and an end date. This past weekend, we were bridesmaid dress shopping and Emily was acting kinda weird towards me, giving me funny looks and talking over me. The 2 other bridesmaids, one I'm friends with, the other I don't know very well, didn't really seem to notice, so I brushed it off, thinking that she was stressed. Me and Emily live really close to each other, so usually after something like this, we'd hang out for the day at one of our houses. At the end of the appointment, I asked her whose house she wanted to go to, and she scoffed and told me that she was going home. I asked her what was wrong, and this is when she went off on me. I don't remember word for word what she said, because I was so confused and shocked, but these are the bits I remember. She basically said that it was so clear that I was trying to lose weight to upstage her for her wedding, that I was already the skinny friend, and now I'm just trying to make it all about me, especially as I've never cleared my weight loss with her. Excuse me? What? As I've never cleared my weight loss with her. Get out of here. She said that I clearly knew that what I was doing was wrong, because I was still wearing oversized clothes to disguise my weight loss. I just haven't updated my wardrobe, and I prefer to be comfortable over wearing tight-fitting stuff. I don't consider myself skinny, but I'm the smallest out of the 4 of us. I also didn't think about how changing my appearance would affect her vision for her wedding. I've never been a bridesmaid before, so I don't know if that was something I should have considered. So I don't think I'm the a-hole for losing the weight, unless I am. But am I the a-hole for not telling her that I was going to lose weight? Edit, guys, I now know that it's lose. I'm sorry for my dyslexia. I would go and edit all of them out, but number 1, I've been told there are many and I'm too lazy for that. And number 2, I now think it's hilarious how annoying you all seem to find it. Okay, so update. First off, thank you all for the support as well as all the spelling lessons. They have cheered me up a lot. Not sure if anybody wanted an update, but you're gonna get one anyway. I called my friend as I'm currently away for work, so I couldn't meet her face to face. And spoiler, it did not go well. I started by telling her that it was not my intent to make her feel any kind of way, and I tried to explain that I'd already been on my weight loss journey before she got engaged. I asked her if she really thought that I'd be vindictive enough to try and upstage her at her wedding, and apparently that was the wrong thing to say. She started ranting about how I think I'm better than her, how whenever we go out together no one ever looks at her and only at me. I don't think that's true, as she's very pretty and I'm pretty average looking. Here's where it gets bonkers bananas. She told me that her ex-boyfriend, who recently got married, is going to be at the wedding, and for a while he was thinking of leaving his, at the time fiance, to ask me out, but my friend convinced him not to. I had no idea any of this went on, and I would have been appalled because number one, that's just weird, and number two, he's my best friend's ex, and I'm now pretty sure that she's still in love with him. I've been uninvited from the wedding unless I put the weight back on, then I can come but not as a bridesmaid. Safe to say I now have a new motivation to keep the weight off, and I shall not be attending any weddings in the near future. She's always had a temper and flipped out at me over random stuff before, but nothing ever this insane. I guess I'm gonna have to get better at identifying red flags. That is so terrible. Oh my god. And the ending of it too. I've been uninvited unless I put the weight back on, and then I can come but not as a bridesmaid. So she hasn't learnt anything. The top comment says, cleared your weight loss with her. Is she kidding? That's the stupidest and most controlling thing ever. Some people shaking my head. Not the a-hole. This comment says, not the a-hole. Jesus Christ. I can't anymore with these bride stories. My two bridesmaids were smaller than me. A lot smaller than me. But honestly, that never even crossed my mind at the time. They're my best friends. They would have been my bridesmaids no matter what. If they were supermodels, or if they were 800 pounds, or if they had pink hair, or no legs, or hairy armpits, or full body tattoos, whatever. They weren't my bridesmaids because of how they looked, or worse, because of how they made me look. They were my bridesmaids because they were my best friends, and I loved them, and I want them to be there with me on my big day no matter what. To the brides out there, if they're hotter than you, or prettier than you, or thinner than you, get over it. That's not what it's about. And if you think that's what it's about, you probably shouldn't be getting married, because you're not in the right mental place to be starting a whole new adult life with somebody else. You have to love yourself first. Get your together, get your priorities straight. Don't project your onto the people who love you the most. Yeah, that is so bad, and it didn't get any better. They were being awful to OP, they kept on being awful to OP, and now OP's not going to the wedding, and the other person still feels like they're in the right. Yeah, she's not your friend OP, that's unbelievable. You didn't clear your weight loss with her. Oh, I'm sorry that you're in control of my weight loss? Like what, you get the final say? That is so infuriating. Like her trying to police it, and acting like she's in charge of it. What did we just read? The comment below that says she wanted you to clear your weight loss with her first. How dare she? Absolutely not the a-hole, and she's been completely unreasonable about this. And also, well done on the weight loss. Losing weight's tough and it takes a lot of effort. Yeah, this is not good. And the fact that the friend Emily got it in her head that OP was trying to upstage her, to the point where Emily started to be cold and rude towards OP because they'd convinced themselves that OP losing weight was about upstaging them. And then on top of that, how unreasonable they were being, like the bit where they felt like OP needed to clear their weight loss with them so they could have the final say, as if they were like in charge of her weight loss. But then also on top of that, she kept on being unreasonable, and by the looks of it, they're not even going to be friends anymore because of it. This comment says, not the a-hole. Your friend determining her self-worth relative to you means that she's cheering for your failure in life. You shouldn't have to put your self-improvement on hold to make her feel better. And her explanation that because you're skinnier, you must find it less necessary to improve yourself is so messed up. Just because she weighs more, that doesn't mean you have to not care about your weight. And also her reasoning that she'll be upstaged is such a red flag about her thinking about the wedding. Nobody's gonna care, and if they did, so what? The wedding's not a pageant where she's proving that she's the world's hottest woman. It's a ceremony to celebrate her relationship and a union of families and social circles. If does this wedding make me look hot is her top priority, she's not ready to get married. Yeah, and then on top of that, the stuff about the ex-boyfriend, and where OP said, I'm now pretty sure that she's still in love with him. Oh, this one is so messy. But yeah, you're not the a-hole OP. The next one. Am I the a-hole for not paying for something I ordered and walking out? I, 23 female, have a friend group with 5 women, including me. Their ages range between 21 and 26. This happened yesterday, and I need opinions on whether I was right to walk out without paying. or wrong for doing so. So yesterday was my friend Lily 21 female's birthday. She just turned 21 and wanted a birthday dinner at a fancy restaurant. Me and 4 other girls were in attendance. All of my friends drink aside from me. I'm not a drinker. I've never been one and I never will be one. Me and my friends get seated down and Lily all happy suggests me to buy an alcoholic beverage. I refused and the rest of my friends decided to chime in and tell me to get one. Once again, I refuse. They know that I don't drink and they know how I feel about it, but basically them begging me to get a drink kept on going on for about 5 minutes. Even sent the waiter away because I hadn't agreed yet. I'm not good under pressure, especially when multiple people are telling me to do one thing. I eventually said yes because they kept on begging. Lily even suggested a drink and said it's for beginners, whatever that means. I told them that I didn't want it and that I know I won't like it. They said I will. Their drink came and as I stated, I didn't like it. One sip and I wanted it gone. They told me to keep on trying it, but I refused, and luckily they dropped it. Anyway, the bill comes and I separated the meal that I got from the drink. They all asked me why I did that, as I should be buying the drink. I said that I wasn't buying the drink since I didn't willingly get it. They begged me to get it knowing that I didn't want it. Lily said that I could have said no. I did many times at that. Yeah, what? OP said no so many times. They kept on going back and forth with me about it, and eventually I just stood up and walked out of the restaurant. I sent the money for my meal to Lily, and I stated that if she or no one else was going to buy the drink, then they shouldn't have begged me to get it. My husband stated that I wasn't in the wrong and that I should distance myself from them. However, the messages from all 4 of them haven't stopped. The top comment says not the a-hole, they're not your friends. The second top comment says you ordered it. Regardless of the why, you ordered it, making it your responsibility. If you didn't want to order it, you should have stuck to your guns. But when you gave in, it became your responsibility. Next time, stick to your no. At 23, you should have a backbone forming already. And the comment below that says, I can't believe there are still people who peer pressure over substances at that age. The one below that says everybody sucks here. You ordered it and you should have paid for it. Put your money where your mouth is if you're going to give in to peer pressure. On the flip side though, they're not being good friends by pressuring you to drink. You should have said, I'll only get it if y'all are buying, because I don't think I'm going to like it and I don't want it to go to waste. Can't have it both ways. The one below that says you the a-hole. No matter how much you hide behind the excuse of peer pressure, there was a moment there where you agreed to buy the drink. Find the person from that moment and make her pay, because she agreed to purchase the drink. Spoiler alert, it's you. And then the comment below that one's not the a-hole. Very much a mixed response in the comments. The comment below that says not the a-hole and these aren't your friends. No is a full sentence and why behind the no doesn't matter. You said no to alcohol and your so-called friends didn't agree and they pressured you. You did the right thing by walking out while paying for what you actually wanted to consume. Block these bullies and be done with them. And then the comment below that one says everybody sucks here. Your friends suck, get new ones. But as soon as you took a sip because you didn't want to stand up for yourself, that's your drink. You know you don't like alcohol, so you shouldn't have caved. Since you caved, starting beef over the price of the drink is lame. If there was beef to be had, it should have been, if you don't stop trying to get me to drink, I'm leaving. Not I caved to your pressure and took a sip, now I want to separate the drink. If you can't stand up for yourself enough to not order the drink next time, just pay for it, lol. There are a lot of comments saying stuff like that. One of the comments below that says everybody sucks here. Them, of course, for pressuring you, but here. I eventually said yes though because they kept on begging. So you did order it, so pay for it. Yeah, the comments are all over the place. The top comment is not the a-hole, but there are so many everybody sucks here, so many you the a-hole comments, also a lot of not the a-hole comments. Pretty much all the everybody sucks here comments are saying the same sort of stuff, like the friends suck, but also OP did end up saying yes and ordering the drink, so they should have paid for it. One of the top comments says the problem here is that you walked out at the wrong moment. You should have scrammed when they were relentlessly bullying you to get a drink, period. The fact that you decided to walk out only when they wanted you to pay for it seems kinda misplaced. You made it seem like you were affronted at the end of the night when the check came, when in fact the harassment and injury occurred at the beginning of the night. Yeah, so they're the top comments. The next one. Am I wrong for telling him that I don't want to get married anymore? So my boyfriend and I were supposed to get married this December. Let's call him M. M and I have been together for 2 years and plan to get married this coming December. Last week M called me and said that him and his parents sat down and decided that him getting married this year would be impractical and that he should get married next year instead. He told me that this is what his family's decided and that I should deal with it. Wow, okay. I explained to him that him deciding this with his parents really hurt my feelings, and M said that he was sorry but he couldn't afford it anymore and he had to prioritize other things and honor his parents' wishes. 2 days later he texts me and says that he wants us to go back to our original date, but I told him no, that I don't want to get married to him anymore because he's shown to me how little he he values my opinion, and I don't want a man who changes plans like he changes clothes. He got mad and said that he was giving me what I wanted, so why was I being difficult? And I asked him, I thought you said you didn't have money for that anymore. And M claims that he wants to thug it out, so am I the a-hole for not wanting to get married anymore? Update, please don't be mad. So M and I decided to keep on dating. Why? Because we love each other and I need time to detach myself emotionally from him. I'm a sucker for love like that. But this was before I'd read all the comments. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to respond to my message, and I now realize how much of a red flag M is. Yesterday was our 2-year dating anniversary, and do you know what he got for me? A big bag of nothing, and an anniversary post on social media. I asked him why he didn't get me anything, and he said that he hasn't gotten paid, which is a lie because he got paid 2 days ago. I'm starting to realize that he cares so little about me, and he might even be using his parents as an excuse to move the wedding. Oh, and something else, he said that he'd give me a loan once he got paid because my business is in need of a little boost, said that he'd loan me $400 and I'd give it back to him in weekly installments. And so I asked him, hey M, how's it going with the loan? And he said, oh, I asked my lawyer about it and I'm still waiting on her response. And now I'm wondering if this man's ever going to make his own decisions, or if he'll ever stick to something that we would have agreed on without consulting a third party, or maybe I'm overreacting. Anyway, from what I've read here and the anniversary thing, I think I'm done with him and this relationship. Thank you so much, everybody. The top comment says he told me that this is what his family has decided and that I should deal with it. And that's when you take his advice and deal with it, by kicking his ass to the curb. He wasn't even asking you, just telling you, like the decision was already made by his parents. At most, his parents' concerns would rate being brought up to you, but not as the final decision. Not the a-hole, but you would be if you stayed with this idiot. And the response says, I wouldn't marry into that family. They'll be making all of her decisions for her. And the second top comment says, not the a-hole. If he wants to put his parents first, fine. But you can walk from this enmeshment that he's got going on here. And the one below that says, you dodged a bullet. And the comment below that says, he should be with the people who seem to matter most, his mummy and daddy. And the response says, he clearly made his choice and it wasn't OP. If he wants to prioritize his parents' decisions over building a future together, then OP's definitely doing the right thing by stepping away. Relationships should be about mutual respect and partnership, not being treated like an afterthought. Yeah, 100%. The next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my sister borrow my expensive dress to wear to my ex-fiance's wedding? So I, 30 female, have a younger sister Mia, 27 female, and we've always had a complicated relationship. She's often been jealous of me and my achievements. Last year, my fiance Ben dumped me super suddenly and very publicly. He's now engaged to my former friend Zoe, and their wedding is next month, and honestly, this whole thing has been really rough on me. Recently, I bought a stunning, expensive designer dress for a fancy charity event that I'm going to next month. It's a special dress and I felt like I deserved to treat myself after everything. Yesterday, Mia saw the dress and immediately asked to borrow it to wear to Ben and Zoe's wedding. She said, it's perfect. I need to look amazing and you're not even using it right now. I was so floored. I told her no, that it's for my event and it would feel so wrong for her to wear it to that wedding. She got super mad and called me ridiculous and selfish, telling our parents that I'm a terrible sister for saying no. Oh my god. Am I the a-hole for not letting her borrow my dress? Especially for that wedding. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Your sister's the a-hole for even asking to borrow an expensive designer dress that you haven't even worn yet. And OP said, right? It's like she just didn't care how I'd feel about it at all. Yeah, and then also to go to her parents and say that OP's being a terrible sister because OP's not letting her wear the dress. That is so bad. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, and why the would she even go to that wedding? The one below that says, not the a-hole, you're under no obligation to loan your dress to anybody for any reason. That your sister wants to wear it to the wedding of an ex just makes her the a-hole. And if it matters to your parents enough that they get involved, suggest that they buy her a new dress. And OP said, right, I don't get why they're so invested in it either. Yeah, all the comments are definitely not the a-hole. The comment below that says, not the a-hole, hold to your no. Your sister is going to a wedding of your ex and former friend when only last year you were engaged to that man and he humiliated you. In addition, she wants to wear an outfit that you splurged on to make yourself feel better to that wedding. I think there's only one terrible sister here and it's not you. And OP said, thank you so much for saying that. It's so nice to hear that I'm not being unreasonable. Yeah, not the a-hole for sure. And the comment below that says you have to put the dress in a safe place where your entitled sister can't reach it. Not the a-hole, of course. And then after all of this, your sister has the audacity to tell your parents that you're a terrible sister for saying no. You're not the terrible sister here, OP. Oh, that one is so aggravating. The next one. Am I the a-hole for moving away and making my friend homeless and then ignoring her calls for help? I, 31 female, have this friend, 33 female, who's been living with me for the past 3 years. She wasn't on the lease, nor did she pay rent, but she did give me money occasionally and would buy stuff for the apartment. In the beginning, she'd help by cleaning and doing dishes sometimes. She did have a habit of collecting useless junk, used bike tires, for example. Wow, okay. That would start piling up in my dining room, and she would get upset if I threw something away or moved it. We got in a few arguments over it, her reasons being that these items were all she had and that I wouldn't understand because I grew up privileged. So of course I didn't see what the big deal was throwing away these items, and I still don't, to be honest. Anyway, after a while I began to feel a lot of resentment towards her, and I felt that she'd started taking me for granted. I ended up moving. I told her that I planned on moving 2 months prior, but she didn't seem to take me seriously, or maybe she assumed that I was taking her with me. I don't know, but I moved, and because of that she's now homeless. She's been calling me daily saying that she doesn't feel good and that she doesn't know what to do, and now she just sits in front of the 7-Eleven doing nothing. I stopped answering her calls. I feel bad, but I just don't want her living with me anymore. It's like she's completely dependent on others to come rescue her, and it's so exhausting. Why do I feel like such a bad person? Should I help her, or is she only trying to manipulate me? Edit, I just wanted to add more info about my friend as it may influence the overall opinion of her. She grew up in foster care and aged out at 18. She's had the same caseworker since who's helped her with housing in the past. She sees her caseworker about once every few months. Also, she has a high school diploma and is and was a licensed massage therapist, but she said that she couldn't renew her license due to financial reasons and sort of just fell off and hasn't been back up since. This was 2015, 10 years ago. Okay, so the top comment, not the a-hole. You didn't make your friend homeless. For whatever reasons, your friend has issues that maybe make it hard for her to do stuff, but you basically supported her for 3 years. She could have done something, anything in that time to work towards self-sufficiency. Yes, it does suck for her, but it's not your fault. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. I'll read a few of the top comments. This comment says she was not your friend. She was using you and didn't listen when you told her that you were moving within 2 months. Her life choices are not your problem. Free yourself by blocking her from your phone or changing your number. Not the a-hole. This one says not the a-hole. She had 3 years to better her life and become independent. She didn't. That's on her. This comment says not the a-hole, but maybe if there's a homeless services or mental health advocacy group in your area, you could call them and tell them about the homeless woman at 7-Eleven. You don't have to give your history with her. You could just be a concerned patron of the 7-Eleven. This comment says, what did she do before you met her? And she lived with you. And OP said, she used to be my upstairs neighbor until she got evicted 3 years ago. And the response says, that's really tough, but she needs to get her act together. And you can't do that for her. Yeah, pretty much all the comments are not the a-hole, saying that, you know, it is really sad and you definitely do feel for her, but that none of this is OP's responsibility. And also that she's been living with OP for the past 3 years for free. And OP gave her notice that she was gonna move. This comment says not the a-hole. If you feel the need to help, call social services. It sounds to me like she needs a social worker, not you as a babysitter. This comment says not the a-hole. She had a free ride for 3 years. Instead of using that time to save and get herself situated, she squandered it. You didn't make her homeless. You stopped the gravy train with ample notice. She opted not to act. And the one below that says hoarding in your home and calling you privileged after 3 years of receiving extraordinary generosity from you is too much. There does come a point where people should help themselves, or at least not actively drag down others. Not the a-hole. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The next one. Am I the a-hole for not letting my neighbor take my children swimming? I've got 3 children between ages 3 and 8. Today my husband was supposed to take them to the park, but he procrastinated and now it's too late because he has to leave out for an event. Our sweet next door neighbor ended up messaging us to see if the kids could join her child at the pool. Her children enjoy playing together. My husband thinks it's a great idea since they were excited to go to the park, but they're no longer going. He told the children about this exciting new option to go swimming instead before even bringing it to me. But I said no. I'm 40 weeks pregnant. I'm exhausted and it's much too hot for me to go and sit at the pool with my children right now, which is why Dad was supposed to go to the park with them. I'm sure my neighbor would not mind me sending them out by themselves because again, she's so kind and I don't think for 1 second that they'll be unsafe with her, but sending 3 children with this lady to the pool all by herself herself on top of her own child is selfish in my opinion. I'd also be the parent dealing with the aftermath of the swimming, like the hair and baths and stuff. My husband thinks it's not fair to the kids because now they have to be stuck in the house all day with nothing to do. They have plenty of toys and board games and a whole backyard to play in, as well as each other. They'll be fine. And again, had he moved faster, then they would have been able to stick to the original plan, and they would have been back from the park by now. In his opinion, there's no difference in sending them to the pool without me, since I wasn't going to be joining them at the park. Now, the children are upset, and I look like the bad guy because I won't let them go to the pool. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Of course your husband thinks them going to the pool is a great idea, because he doesn't have to do anything. This comment says not the a-hole. My children were not allowed to go anywhere near a body of water with anybody but myself until they were on swim teams. Your husband threw you under the bus twice. What an a-hole this guy. The comment below that, at 40 weeks pregnant and him giving you grief about how you'll manage your 3 other kids while he goes to an event? Come on, not the a-hole. Tell your kids they can go when dad takes them and he can choose his event or the promise he made to his kids. You can stay out of it and relax. Yeah, and the comment below that, not the a-hole. Of course your husband's on board with this plan because it requires nothing of him and it allows him to shove aside the fact that he procrastinated and disappointed the kids. Ridiculous immature behavior on his part. Yeah, I feel like I don't even need to say it, but it's definitely a not the a-hole consensus. Wow, okay, the next one is an a-hole post. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she shouldn't have given my 3-year-old son an expensive violin? Right, so this one has been labelled as the a-hole. My husband is one of 6 children and all of them were enrolled in music classes by my mother-in-law from a very young age. They all played string instruments, either violin or cello. 4 of them are now professional musicians, my husband and one of his sisters being the exception, though they still play as a hobby. Even before having a child, I told my husband that I wasn't against our kid taking music classes, as long as it was at a time that we thought it was right, and with none of the pressure that he had to deal with, and also considering whatever other activities that could be more relevant and we could afford, and he agreed. Now, our son just turned 3 and my mother-in-law, after dropping some hints that I've previously ignored for the sake of keeping pace, such as soon he'll reach the age to start learning music, and I talked to him to the teacher that taught my kids when they were little, gave him a crazy expensive violin as a birthday gift. Not only that, she said to my son something like, soon you'll be playing like your father and your uncles. I didn't say anything in front of anybody. This happened during the birthday party with friends and family, but at some point I found her alone and I was like, you should have talked to us before buying that violin. And she acted like I'd offended her personally. I said that I didn't want to create this expectation of getting music classes and I wasn't even sure that we could afford it right now. And she said that she's more than willing to pay for those classes, like she does for some of her other grandchildren. And that was the first that I'd heard about this. I didn't want to push this any further, but I feel her dream of having like this large family of musicians is now being passed down to the new generation. My husband talked to me later and told me that his mother talked to him about what I said to her and was taken aback by my reaction. But to me, this was not just about the violin as a gift, but her overall meddling in how we raise our child. Am I the a-hole here? Okay, so how does the labeling work on this subreddit? Like, this post does have an a-hole label. Does it only go off the top comment? Because there are you the a-hole comments, but there are so many not the a-hole comments too. There are you the a-holes, there are not the a-holes, there are everybody sucks here. The top comment says, I don't get the issue here. Put it in a closet and then bring up playing when he's a little bit older. The response says exactly, good lord, why the drama? And the response to that one says, I honestly don't think that OP was being dramatic. Like, she told the mother-in-law that she should have talked to her and the kid's father before buying an instrument that the kid could get excited about and eager to play without even consulting the parents about their financial situation and means to pay for lessons. Maybe they could be considering giving the kid some toy instruments first and paying for lessons when the kid was a bit older and done with swimming classes and stuff. The previous comments from the mother-in-law, she even had picked a teacher for it, make it clear that there were indeed strings attached to the gift, and if the issue wasn't raised now, it would be in no time. Plus, OP didn't say, based on the post at least, that she would be refusing the mother-in-law's offer to pay for classes, though she could have. If the grandmother's the one paying, she might feel entitled to see how the kid's faring up and then project her own expectations. Other than that, OP could not want any financial favours from immediate family, from her side or her husband's side, for whatever reason. So no, I don't really think there's too much drama here, only from the mother-in-law's part, as in acting like she was slapped in the face because OP said that she should have checked with them before getting a 3-year-old all worked up about this gift. The second top comment says, honestly, I'd grab the opportunity with both hands, but first I'd find out what my child wants to play, and then suggest this as a gift instead. Learning to play an instrument is really great for a child, and having it paid for by somebody else is the best. And then the comment below that one says, "You the a-hole. She bought the violin and is happy to pay for lessons, but you're so focused on a one-sided power struggle that you're willing to deny your child a wonderful, enriching opportunity just to assert yourself over your mother-in-law." But then the comment below that says, "Not the a-hole or no a-holes. Your mother-in-law obviously feels very strongly that all children in the extended family should get music lessons early on. It does seem like 3 years old is a little bit young for a child to be given an expensive violin for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's only 3, and toddlers are notoriously destructive. If your child isn't, then fine and dandy, but that violin could be in splinters in a very short time if he is. Number 2, he's a bit too young to be under pressure to learn the violin and to practice it enough to get good at it. On the other hand, you might be putting the brakes on something that your child would actually enjoy, because you don't want mother-in-law to influence him too much in this area. Take mother-in-law up on the lessons for your child. If he takes to it, then let him do that. If he hates it, take him out of the lesson so he can figure out what else he might like to do. You might want to try him again in a couple of years, again being vigilant about his response to the discipline and the practice needed to become a good violin player, or maybe expose him to other instruments even. Brass instruments are good, as are woodwinds and percussion. Heaven help you if he likes drums. Keep you cool and allow your child to choose for himself. If he doesn't like the lessons or the discipline of practicing at this young age, then stop the lessons and allow him to do something else. If mother-in-law keeps on pressuring you and him that it has to be violin or nothing, then that's your signal to let her know that she'll have no say in this matter. Yeah, I don't understand why this one has the label of OP being the a-hole, because there are so many not the a-hole comments. And also there are so many everybody sucks here comments and a lot of you the a-hole comments. But yeah, the comments are all over the place. It's not like they're all you the a-hole. Actually, the more I scroll through the comments, there's probably more not the a-hole comments. Let me know what you think in the comments, everybody. Jin is going wild in the background at the moment, sprinting around the room and jumping on stuff. I love him so much. Okay, the next one says, "Am I the a-hole for asking for a separate check?" So I go out to eat with my boyfriend's family a lot for context. It's him, me, and his 4 siblings, one of the siblings' girlfriends, their mum and their stepdad. Every time we go out, the check is split 4 ways. My boyfriend and I together, his brother and his girlfriend, the mum and the stepdad. No matter how little or how much I ordered, which I don't think is right for anybody, because if I ordered like 4 chicken tacos, why am I paying for 3 beers and 2 appetizers and an entree? So yesterday the waitress came and I asked for my boyfriend and I to have a separate check, and they all looked at me crazy. So they said no, together we split it. I said no, I'm paying for him and I. He told me no, he wanted it together. So I said okay, I'll just pay for my food. I ordered an appetizer and a side Caesar salad. The tab was almost $400. Why am I splitting it when my food was $25? So they got mad. I explained that I was not paying for stuff that I didn't order, and I'm not paying for her children's meals. When I ordered 2 things, they all got mad and said, well, we're all splitting it. I said, that's fine, y'all can split it and I'll pay for my meal. I left the restaurant by myself and I didn't attend the things they had planned after, because the situation was obviously not over. My boyfriend got mad at me and said that I embarrassed him at the restaurant and for not attending. I'm at a loss, honestly. It's the next day and everybody is still mad. Yeah, like this comment says, you didn't embarrass anybody. They embarrassed themselves by acting like you committed a crime for having common sense. This comment says, time to find a new boyfriend. He's happy to spend your money on his family. He's also happy to chide and chastise you for not falling for their dinner scam. At the very least, refuse to go eat with them again in the future. But honestly, your boyfriend sounds like it. The top comment says they were f***ing you over. They knew they were f***ing you over, and then they got mad when you called them on their So 2 things. Number 1, you're in the right. Number 2, you need a new boyfriend because the current one is an idiot. The second top comment says not the a-hole. Have they said why they feel a need for you to subsidize their meals? And this comment says if your boyfriend's adamant the meal should be split 4 ways, then he should pay for one of the 4 equal shares. You can reimburse him for your meal. There, everybody gets what they want. Yeah, and this comment too, not the a-hole. At the very least, stop going out to eat with them. Yeah, all the comments are saying that OP's not the a-hole and that OP needs a new boyfriend, and I feel like that's enough for today. Time to read something wholesome. I will never see a purer thing than this Bulbasaur looking so happy to see a cookie based on him. Even the cookie's so happy. Yeah, that's so cute. I want to eat them. We need to recreate this. Bulbasaur is so cute. Also, that raises a topic though. Do you guys ever watch like a cartoon or something or a movie, and there's a food in it that you really want to eat, but you can't eat it because it's not real. That's so painful. And this one too. When you stop telling a story because no one was listening, but then that one friend says, "What were you saying?" And you get to finish. Yeah, that is a beautiful feeling, isn't it? It's not a beautiful feeling when people aren't listening, but yeah, when somebody cares and they're like, "Hey, what were you saying?" And then they want you to finish what you were saying. Yeah, that's such a good feeling. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. If you did, let me know down below in the comments, and also like and subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day today goes to Lord Oregano, which, by the way, is such a good name. I can't believe Jin narrates this episode. Yeah, I don't really know why, but I felt like using the cats as my icon was a pretty good idea, because who wouldn't want to watch Jin and Nez narrate the episode? I do sometimes have good ideas, and I feel like that was a good idea. And yeah, it's funny to imagine that I'm Jin and Nez, and this is them talking right now. And yeah, thank you for watching the episodes, and I hope you enjoy them. And thank you for the support, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!